Well, first of all, I just want to take a second and congratulate the Yankees on everything that they just accomplished. They played very well. They earned this, and they did a great job. So first of all, congratulations to them. I mean it when I say to you that I do not sit here frustrated at all. I am extremely happy and extremely proud of everything that we just went through over the course of this season. Our guys should be walking out of that clubhouse with their heads held high, and they never stopped playing. Our guys continue to fight day in and day out. We got beat over the last 3 days, and there's no way around that. And that's going to happen from time to time. But what an amazing season it was, and it was very special for me, and I told the guys as much, and I hope every single person in that clubhouse feels as proud as I do right now.
Other questions? Brandon, we'll get you the mic.
Just curious, how long do you feel like you'll think about this series and maybe things you learned versus just like what you've processed in the last few minutes since the game has ended, and how will that kind of all come together for what you do in the future when you guys make the playoffs again?
I'd say forever. I'll think about it forever. I mean, you only play in so many different, playoff series, and you only get this opportunity a few times. Some people spend their entire life in the game and never get the opportunity to do what we just did. So I do think it's a very special occasion. It's something that we hold dear to our hearts, and it means a lot to everyone in the game. So I'll always think about this series, just like I think about all the other series that I've ever been involved in. You never forget them, and personally, I like to continue to learn and think about things and have conversations and talk things out and get other people's opinions on stuff like this. And this is that's where this falls for me. And I'll probably always be there. I hope I'm always kind of thinking about it like that. But when you look back on it, I mean, we talk about. I never second guess anything that we do. We stand by the decisions that we make. And like I said, we just went out there and we were outplayed for 3 games, and it's okay to acknowledge that. We'll be back.
Second row on your left, Rocco.
Rocco, I know it's still a little bit fresh, but with it being your first season as a manager, was it what you had thought it would be? What did you learn, or how would you characterize your first year as a manager?
Well, it was a great year. I got to be a part of something that I consider very special, and I think we have a very unique, special group of people. We got a chance to watch some players reach new heights in their careers. We got a chance to go out there, we won 101 games. It was a group that meshed and came together exceptionally well. In this job, you learn something new every day, and the experience part of this job does matter. And as someone that never had that experience, I was figuring things out on the go all the time. I found it extraordinarily challenging, but also very rewarding. And every day when I left, I took something home with me, and I'll keep those things forever. I wouldn't trade anything that just happened for anything in the world.
On your far right, Rocco. Tim?
Hey, Rocco, we could all sort of add up the scores and the statistics, but what do you think over these 3 games separated these 2 teams in your mind?
Well, I mean, to be very blunt about it, I mean, they probably pitched a little better than us. They probably swung the bats a little better than us and defended better than us. And, we're not going to run away from what just happened and say anything else. I mean, that's really the way that it played out. I bet on our guys if we get the chance to play it all over again. That's not how it works. You get one opportunity to go out there and play the games, and the Yankees went out there and they played very well. I think they executed very well. They had a plan. They carried it out, and that's kind of the way that I think the series played out. And when you play in a best of 5 series, I mean, it can be over very quickly, and that's what happened.
Lavelle?
Rocco, I'm hoping to get your thoughts on what Odorizzi gave you today, how you decided to take him on after 5. I know he's going into the order for the 3rd time, and how you tried to hold the line right there with your bullpen.
Yeah, this game was a little different, as we talked about before the game. It's an elimination game. It's a game where you're going to send all of your guys out there, the guys that have been exceptional at what they do all year long. Jake threw the ball great. I think Jake, I don't know what we could have asked for more from him. We also we had opportunities to put runs on the board, but we weren't able to push them across. We had shots, and I thought we had some good at-bats. I thought we hit some balls hard. It just didn't play out in a way where we were scoring any runs. And so, Jake was coming through the order again. He got us through 5 really good innings. We could have taken a chance and sent him back out there, but we had a very well-rested Rogers, Romo, May. We had all these guys that are just ready to pitch, and they're really good at what they do too. So I don't know if there was necessarily a wrong answer there, because Odo looked great as well, and he probably could have kept going if we're in a different situation. If we're not in an elimination game in the playoffs, Odo's going to keep pitching in that game. But having those guys, hopefully ready at the top of their game and as rested as they can be, we just wanted to go with our relievers and give them an opportunity to get us to the end of the game.
Do 3 more starting in the center.
Bats going that quiet surprise you? Just, 7 runs in 3 games for a team that hit, 307 home runs and were that prolific. Did it surprise you to struggle offensively so much in these 3 games, Rocco?
Well, it's baseball, so that can happen. We've had other 3-game, parts of our seasons where we played 3 games and didn't put very many runs on the board too. You wish it doesn't happen in the playoffs, but it did. I also thought we did swing the bats pretty good today. I thought we hit more than a handful of balls on the barrel and really didn't have anything to show for it. They defended well. I mean, they made several good quality plays out there in the field that put them in a place to get through some of these innings. If we find some space, you never know. But that's not. There's no excuse there. I think we were beaten by a team that played better than us these 3 games.
2 more. Doe, to your right.
Got a lot of guys in there that haven't been on this stage before. What about the way that they played in these games and that they might have learned from these games might give you optimism for when they're back on if and when they're back on this stage in the future?
Yeah, I don't think anyone would argue that we have a really talented group of players. We have another subset of guys, a lot of young guys that are really coming into their own and are going to do great things for a long time. These playing in the playoffs, this is invaluable. I mean, you going forward, this is something that, just like I was just saying earlier, just like I'm going to take a lot out of this and learn a lot from what we just experienced, I hope all of our players do too. And hopefully we're in this position again next year and again after that. And you draw upon these things. You've gone through it before. You can touch on things. Doesn't mean inexperienced players can't have success in the postseason and in stressful environments and situations. Of course they can. We've seen it happen time and time again. But when you have done it, once and 2 times and 3 times, and you go through it, you do learn from what you've seen, and I think it can definitely be helpful.